Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that look like those heathen nations. This is not a black thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And before I do that, I'm going to read this disclaimer, because I'm going to use footage from this movie that came out in 2020 called The Butchers. And the butchers of the earth are the Edomites, the so-called white man, so-called white race. Right? They're the true butchers of the earth. That's how they got their power. That's how they got everything that they have today, by butchering people. And then taking their heritages, taking away the heritage in the land. All right, and they did it by butchery, rape, rob, murder, and butchery. Everything that happened in this movie. All right. But this is the disclaimer of Section 107, under Section 107, Disclaimer Act. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might be otherwise infringing. So the fair use statute has been declared. I am not profiting from this. I am not making money or monetary gain from this any way whatsoever. I'm just using mere moments, seconds of this, to just make a point for educational purposes. All right. So, basically, this was being done during a green tree. So how much more when the tree is dry? And we're facing the collapse of America. We're facing the shutdown of the law system, of power, of law and order, which is basically disrespected to the max as it is. How much more so when there actually are no police departments, when there is no, and the rule of law is the weapon in your hand. All right. When you face these towns in the Appalachian Mountains and, in these mountain towns and these sundown towns that still exist. All right. And you go driving through them and your car breaks down, or, however it happens. All right. It's going to be a very dark time. And this movie, that I just stumbled across and watched yesterday because I was bored. And then I was intrigued by what was going on. I was like, damn. It gives you a real life of what it's going to be like when Second Ezra gets here. And that time is so close at hand. So without any further ado, we're going to show clips of what's to be expected. And give you an idea, and then we're going to go into the scriptures.
Steven? Someone's out here!
What?
Wow. All right, so
Hello?
I hate to leave you hanging here, but I got work to do.
Steven?
yeah, so you saw she went from sitting in that car waiting on Stephen to being hung up in a barn. Stephen was put to death. He was hacked to pieces by that guy's ginormous I was about to say that word. He's about, I guess you're not supposed to say that word anymore. But that the gigantic retard of a brother of his who hacked him to pieces with a ginormous cleaver. All right. And she was sexually abused and kept in a damn dog cage. Next scene you saw, was her in a dress tied up in a dog cage. All right. Now, and this man had been murdered. So that makes me think of Sirach 14, because this was Edomites did this to another Edomite. Stephen had never done anything to them. He gets knocked over the head with a shovel. And then he gets woken up, and then they waited for him to wake up to kill him. You think they just could have killed him. They waited for him to wake up and then, hack him to pieces. So, these people are cruel. So that makes me think of him who is evil unto himself, man. And he did this to his own people. That's Sirach. And yeah, in fact, I'll just start at 14 and 4. It said, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others and shall spend the goods riotously. So what they were doing was it was 4 of them working together. You had 3 brothers and some older man who had an old school tow truck, and they would all work together. And clearly, just from watching the movie, the older man was a friend of their father's. And he only dealt with them because of his relationship with their father. And this is what they have been doing. They have been stealing people off the roads, pretending to help them, and robbing them, putting the men to death, making the women sexual slaves to all of them. And then eventually, they would kill the women. All right. But something about this one, because I don't know who knows whose baby it was. They were all having their way with her. But the retard, took a special liking to her. Was like, outside of the fact that he kept her out in the barn tied up, he would feed her, and, he would make sure she was okay physically. Mentally, she's all fucked up. And the guy told her when she was hanging up in the barn that if if she ran her mouth and used it for anything other than what he wanted her to do, that he would cut her tongue out. That's what he told her. So here it says, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others, that shall spend his goods righteously. So Esau, all this rape, robbing, and murder, he's going to have to give it all back. It's all going to be taken from him. Then it reads, verse 5, in the point, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he do good? He shall not take pleasure in his good. So clearly, I would say that this had to be one of them so-called, just from extrapolation, this had to be one of them sundown towns or areas, because, all the victims that you saw on the wall, when you saw the images of the women naked and their breast out and all that other stuff, all you saw was Edomite women, their own people. All right. I'm going to assume that Jake already knew that they weren't welcome in those parts, in those mountains, in those hills and things like that. They didn't even drive through there. They probably figured out some other way around. I'm sure there's plenty of Jake got hung in them trees and them hills and stuff. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to here. This is actual from the movie when she found the girl. Now that's her. That was the same woman you saw in the car that's sitting there all big belly. And this is another girl whose husband, all right, well, she wasn't married to him, but if you're sleeping with a man, he's going on into you. That's, you're his. Well, he was banging her best friend. And I just found it ironic that because they broke down. They were in a 81 Monte Carlo, old school Monte Carlo, and they broke down. And the guy went to go for the gas station, and her best friend went to go walk with him, and she stayed back in the car with her best friend's guy, and they just sitting there waiting on them. And these two, they couldn't even make it to the gas station. They dipped off in the woods to get, to get a quick one in. So it turns out, this guy was doing his best friend's girl, and of course, the pervert cousin or brother, the tard, this extremely strong, the big one, is taking photographs of them the whole time and start leaving them on the road. And so when the other couple started finally, well, I wouldn't say the other couple, when the other two started walking, they started finding pictures of themselves and of their friends. So this guy been taking pictures of them and leading them. And then, of course, he left the one on the ground that she found of her man with his girl. And then she picked the picture up and showed it to the dude. He just burst out in tears because he was so hurt because he couldn't believe that his friend was doing this to him. Well, needless to say, the two adulterers got it first. All right, and there's a scripture for that. And it's in the laws on sexual behavior. It can be found in Leviticus. All right, and the one that applied to them. Let's go to Leviticus 20. I think it starts at verse 10. Yeah. Yep, verse 10, Leviticus 20 and 10. And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. All right? She will not get half. She will not get child support. She will not get alimony. She gets the cleaver, just like this one did. All right? The woman that's standing over the pregnant woman, that would be her friend who caught that cleaver, and so did her adulterous husband for going on into her. All right. Unfortunately, she fought and put up a valiant fight. She and her the hurt boyfriend was such a wimp. He died basically without even a fight. So this woman put up more of a fight than he did. But she went to go free this woman who had been getting, sausage against her will and was carrying a baby. And the woman went and talked to her, and she asked her how long she been there, and the woman just had this distraught look on her face. And you know what? We already declared the section 107, so we'll play just a few seconds of it.
I can get us out of here. How long have you been in this place? What's wrong? What?
It says, silence is golden. He told her if she used her tongue, he told her that silence was golden. Those are the words he said to her when she was hanging up. He told her silence is golden, and that she used her mouth for anything other than his pleasure, he would cut her tongue out. And not the retard. He didn't do that to her. I'm sure it was the other one, his older brother, that did it. And it's wild because the one that's standing over her, when she came walking down the road, not knowing what had happened to her friends that went before her, all right, her adulterous husband and her friend, who went before them. He told her there was a phone in there. You can go use the phone. And when she went to go use the phone was dead, and she looks on the wall in front of the phone, and there was the numerous pictures of naked women who had been expired. So she knew right then and there when she turns around, he just, busts over the head with a damn pipe, with a monkey wrench, a pipe wrench, and she wakes up tied up too, right next to her friend that went walking down the road, her adulterous friend before her. So these are the things that you're facing, that you're gonna look at. And then the woman, she just doesn't want to live anymore. It's so bad how the scriptures say they shall seek death and not find it. So this woman had been, wanting to die the whole time. She's been, we don't know how long she's been there. I would say it had to be well over a year because she's pregnant. So she'd been there quite some time. And I'm sure just even when her belly began to rise, that didn't stop them from, from giving her that, giving her that small Edomite sausage. I'm sure they still was doing that.
You're alive. That's what matters. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Look at her face. She said, "You're alive. That's what matters. I want to get you out of here." This is a woman that just wants to expire.
Baby, out of here.
Look at her face. She was like, "I'm gonna get you and your baby out of here." This woman, she don't want to get out of there. She don't want to have that baby. Okay? Being what she had just gone through. No, this is some terrible and some dark, dark times that we're headed into, man. All right? Let's go to Matthew. Thinking of another scripture. This is because this woman, her and her man were victims, and her man hadn't done any wrong to these people at all. But he got put to death and she got taken. All right. But it says, Matthew 5 and 32, it says, "But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery." All right. You have heard. No, you know what? Now it just came back to mind what I actually wanted to read. Salakia, that wasn't what I wanted to read. What I wanted to read was this one. Leviticus 19 and 20. All right. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to read it in the NLT because it just hits so hard. Because this is basically what happened to her because she became a slave. All right. So, if this were a time of war, this goes to prove to you that the Lord, there's a whole doctrine in the Bible on how to treat a captured woman. All right. And this is Leviticus 19 and 20. "If a man has sex with a girl slave whose freedom has never been purchased, but who is committed to become another man's wife, he must pay full compensation for her to her master. But since she is not a free woman, neither the man nor the woman will be put to death." So on the flip side of that coin, the man that did this was actually men, multiple. So these men would deserve death hands down. But it's just going to show you, all right? Because we've had these debates and these arguments with these, and I'm kind of going off. This is, and what I mean, I'm going off the subject matter, but this is something I just wanted to touch on. That there is a whole law on how to treat a captured woman. All right, because you got people that come against the grape, what they call the grape doctrine. Well, here's the Bible justifying it right here. All right. Once again, it said, "If a man has sex with a slave girl whose freedom has never been purchased, but who is committed to become another man's wife." So here she is, captive and being made to marry some, her family and her man. People are probably being put to death. All right, and she's being forced to marry another. That's why we always tell you that these so-called Christians do not know the Bible. They don't understand the God of heaven and the true nature of the Lord, man. How harsh He can be. All right, that He made laws on how to deal with everything. So you took a woman unlawfully, you were put to death. Okay, if you took a woman in certain ways, you were forced to pay a dowry. You were forced to pay a fee. All right, it says the man or the woman will not be put to death. The man, however, must bring a ram as a guilt offering and present presented to Yahweh at the entrance of the tabernacle. So basically, these are laws for Israelite men. All right, these laws didn't, because when the Levitical laws were given, they weren't given to all people. The laws were given to the Israelites on how to conduct themselves. All right, because I believe that's in Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, if I'm not mistaken, on how to treat a damsel, a damsel that you've captured, that you see a woman amongst the, amongst the heathen that you like of. So this also proves that you can have women of the other nations, is the main point to be made here. All right, but what we're looking at was Esau doing this to his own people. All right, there's no way that you can try to apply these laws, to you lying with another Israelite man's wife. Okay, this is this was what captured heathen, and it's going to be that way again when the kingdom of heaven comes, because when the New Jerusalem comes down off of those chariots, after all the chaos that happens here, and when Second Ezra takes place. Matter of fact, let's read that. Let's get back in order here. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, because what you just witnessed is going to be a part of what happens when this society collapses. And this is Second Ezra 15 and 14, and it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and their courses of their actions shall stand in their strength." Right? So when they come in and start flooding each other's houses, kicking in doors, looking for food, looking for wine, looking for weapons, looking for women. And feminism is going to die instantly, just like it did in this movie. Soon as Stephen got hit over the head with that shovel, feminism died, and she just took sausage over and over and over again against her will. All right? That's what happened to her until it broke her, that she lost her tongue and she lost her mind, because I'm not going to show that part, but she cut the girl free, and the girl picked up because she found a old rusted saw blade and stuck it in her pants pocket, and she cut the girl's hands free, and the girl took the saw blade and immediately stabbed her own self in the neck with that look of despair on her face. Soon as she told her, "I'm going to set you free and get you and your baby out of here," she had decided in that moment that I am not going to live without my tongue, and I'm definitely not going to bring the child of my enemy into this world. And it's funny how these Israelite women today love to bring in children into this world that are their enemies. See, this woman understood that this child was the seed of her enemy, and she did not want to give it life. So she ended her own and that child's. All right. But it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but they shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for the great tribulation." And you best believe that there will be a lot of ravishing of wives and daughters and women as they're spoiling those houses. The two go hand in hand. All right? And feminism will die grievously, instantly, as soon as these lights go out in Babylon. Okay? And then Yahushua is going to come. He's not coming for peace. He's coming with a sword. All right? He's coming with a sword to tear this place down. And then he's going to set up his new government, the house of David, the 144,000, to be the judges over the earth. "Think not that I have come to send peace on earth. I am come not I came not to send peace, but a sword. All right. So the Lord's coming to take the earth back, to take away the dominion of Esau, Edom, the rulership of Esau, Edom. All right. Because that's when he's going to, New Jerusalem. Let's get that. And you best believe that when the 144,000 come down and take over all the places that didn't get destroyed, all of the places remaining in throughout Asia, including Eurasia, the part of Asia that they call Europe, all right, the Africa, wherever they are, when we come down to put all the other nations into subjection under the heavenly law, that they may build the kingdom of heaven here on earth for free, all right, that the best of their women that remain, the heathen don't get to have them. That's why it reads in Psalms 2 and 8 the way that it does. I suggest you go read Psalms, the 2nd chapter. But this is Revelation 21 and 2. And it reads, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God, out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." That is the 144,000, the new government. All right. Under, the tabernacle of David. All right. David will be at the head of that. It will be Yahushua and then King David. And then the rest of the 144,000. In order. The 12. All right. And King David is a part of the 12. If you have understanding, you would know that David is Peter. All right. You can't give Peter the keys and then promise David kingship forever. Then you'd have a conflict. All right. There is no confusion. Just like we know that John was Elias. Peter is David. All right. Or Dawad, to be said properly. And it says, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their power." All right. Why? Because the Lord he's the root and offspring of David. Revelation 22:16. "I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and offspring of David and the bright and morning star." So the Lord is coming back to conquer. All right. And he's going to lead the 144,000. All right. Into dominion over the whole world and set up the new government here on earth. All right. And Esau, Edom has to go through, and the heathen, but especially Esau, they have to go through their punishments to make amendment for what they've done to the apple of the Lord's eye, which is us. All right. They have to go through it. And the thing is we won't need to, grape their women, because their women are going to come to us. They're going to want to. Matter of fact, most of them want to do it on this side when we're low and have nothing. That's why Esau hates us so much, and the heathen. Because even in our low state, Jake has so much flavor, so much, the whole world mimics us in everything that we do. All right, how much more so, and I often say it, if we can have the heathen now, and they mimic us now, how much more when we have everything? When the Lord redeems and restores us to our power, we get our strength back, our height back. Israelite men are going to be like 8 feet down, 8 feet tall, man. We're going to be huge. The only one taller will be Yahushua himself. We're going to have all the wealth, all the power, all the knowledge and righteousness, not wickedness, like what was done in this movie. This was very wicked. We won't be doing things like that. We won't take a woman and then pass her around. You know, when we do take a woman, you know, that woman will become ours, not everybody's. Not she's ours. No, that's not what's going to be happening. All right, the world is in need of new management, dire need, and Yahushua is about to set it up. So with that, I want to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash, Kwam, Yasharala, Abad, Babal.